Hello everybody, I'm Tony. I'm the guy renting the RV to you today. I'm going to give you a quick orientation on how to work certain things on this to make your trip much more exciting and fun. So first things first, what I'm getting right now is the awning rod so that you can make that easier for yourself to get it in and out. A couple of things before I forget to keep in mind. You have to make sure that you take turns much wider than you normally would with a regular vehicle. What I like to do is watch my rear view blind spot mirrors, and as soon as the hip, which is the back wheels of the motorhome, are past the turning point, then you can make your full right or left depending on which way you're going. Also, another important thing to point out is the bottom of this motorhome on a steep incline will bottom out, so you need to kind of try to take it on an angle, and if you can't, just go extremely slow. If it bottoms out a little bit, it's okay, but if you bottom out too hard, it will do damage to the hitch, and we don't want to do that, obviously. So this is how you operate the awning. What you're going to do first is reach up top. Now it's fully closed, obviously, so this is, you'll have to reverse it if you're putting it back in. And you want to grab that little, it's a little like gray latch, and pull it forward with the rod so you hear it click like that. And then what I do is I hang this here to, once I get that done. You have a little wheel you have to unscrew until it's completely loose. And then you have to undo the safety latch that holds the inside of this in. You'll come over here, you'll do the same thing on this side. And then what you want to do is, and you can make this a two-person operation, start pulling it out like that, and as you'll see, and it's okay on this sticks normally. We haven't had a chance to replace this yet, but it's fine, it works good. Just got to give it a little pop like that so it's out just like the other side is. And then you'll pull this out like that, grab the strap until it's fully extended, which is right about there. Okay, and then once that's done, put your rod over to the side. You can raise it or lower it. You want to always keep this on an angle so that the water drains. If you don't do that, it'll build up water in a heavy rainstorm and it'll do damage to the awning. But this is how you raise it and lower it on both sides. Once it's raised up to the proper height that you prefer, you take this and slide it all the way to the top until it locks past that little gray clip, and then you'll tighten that. This is easier to do while it's a little bit lower, and you'll do the same thing on the other side, and then it's ready to go. And then you could take this thing.
Hold on, it paused. Okay, you got it. Sorry.
Then you take this and just wrap it around something just to keep it out of your way. We like to use these on the other side, especially to hang towels or things like that. If you're at the beach or whatever, it works really good for you for drying rack. And then when you're undoing this, when you're putting it away to go home, you loosen that, pull down very carefully on this little gray clip, slide this down to the very bottom. It'll stop by itself. Both sides have to be dropped as far as they'll go down. Right now they're down as low as they need to be. And then in order to put this back up, you pretty much just reverse what I just showed you. You put this in here. I like to put it over here like that and just kind of lay it on the ground, but that way you know it's already clipped in. And then you're going to come over here and you give this a little bit of a turn and push up on that little gray latch. And as you'll see, it starts raising itself back up. And then as that's happening, you want to grab the rope, or the cord here, so that this doesn't, if this slams up too hard, it'll also do damage to it. And let it hit like that. And then you push this in, latch the safety latch on, screw it down on both sides. You can see it's nice and even. That's the way it's supposed to be. If it looks uneven, you need to take it back out and make sure it looks even. Screw this side in. Lock it in, and you're good to go. And then this, make sure you don't lose it. Leave it like I've done almost a couple times, and put it back into this compartment here. These doors, on all of these doors, you can just let them close like that and slam. You don't have to worry about dropping them. That's how they actually work better. You have some power out here if you need it. This is your outside speaker. And I'll show you the buttons for that, but if you want to have music outside while you're having a fire or whatever, or just getting some sun rays, then you can listen to music that way. It's got an outlet here also. These little latches here hold these doors up. Be careful that you don't try to close this with this latch engaged or it'll break. You just simply lift it up, let it fall. You have another storage compartment here. Here's your ladder to the roof. I prefer nobody goes on top of the roof because it's just not good to do. There's, you know, the roof's in good shape and we just don't like to walk on it. It's not good for the construction. Tow hitch if you need it, and tow up to, I think, about 8,000 pounds. It's got a 4-prong hookup, I think it is. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, 6-prong hookup. So it's a standard hookup. As you can see, it's plugged into the wall right now, and it's on 20 amp, which is just regular house service. The only thing you could run on 20 amp is things like maybe you can run a couple lights or plug in a vacuum to clean the motorhome. That's pretty much it. You have to have 30 amp service or better. If you go to a campsite that has 50 amp service, they'll provide you with the adapter you need to go from 30 to 50 amp. But 30 amp, you can run the air conditioner and most of the stuff in there with no problem. Occasionally, if you try to run a blow dryer and the microwave and the air conditioner, you'll trip a breaker. And I'll go through all that with you in a little bit when we go inside. There's some more compartments here. Right now we're plugged into electrical power. And then going from left to right, here's your water pump. Right now it's plugged in and it's set up for us to be traveling, which is on the Waterworks board utilities panel. That's where you want it to be. If you need to fill this tank here, the big X storage tank on the right, you would turn the water on, switch the tank fill, and you just want to make sure that the water pump inside, which I'll go over with you in a little while, is off, and that fills the tank. When you're traveling, like I said, it goes back up to here. When you're camping, you want to hook up the water and go to city fill, and it'll run directly off the water supply you're plugged into or hooked up to. Here's your cable. This is self-explanatory. You just hook it up to the cable connection if they provide that. Here's your septic line. Your septic line runs, you have to unbungee cord it here, and you'll see this has got a universal adapter. It's very easy to figure out how this works. You screw this into the septic hole, and then once you unhook this, this will move right or left depending on what you need to do. You want to try to keep it on, as level of a plane as possible when you're draining the septic. Bungee cord needs to be attached only while you're traveling. You don't have to have that attached while you're camping. The black water and the septic tank, which is the black lever here, has to be emptied before you bring it back. If it's not, there's an additional fee for that. That also has to be cleaned inside and out. As you're aware, there's an additional fee for that we will charge if it's not clean like it was when you received it. It's got to be completely washed outside, and the inside has to be clean as it was when you got the motorhome. That pretty much should do it, other than here's your black valve here is what empties the black tank. That empties the poop and the pee and that kind of septic. And then to the far left, there's a gray lever that you would pull in and out. They both operate about the same. You just pull it out and then push it in. What I like to do when I'm emptying the black is I'll empty the black first, and then I'll close it, open up the gray tank, which is like shower and sink water. And that helps you, and this gray level's back here, that helps you keep, dirty stuff out of the septic hose. And then once that's done and you empty that out, you'll shut everything down, you'll stow the hose back the way it is here. It pushes back up into the control arm here. And you have to make sure you go in and drop the septic tab into the toilet, which I'll go over with you in a minute also. And that will allow you to keep the odor down, and it kills bacteria in the septic tank. Another thing to keep in mind is do not put any toilet paper into the toilet. When we use the toilet, we wrap up our toilet paper use into the garbage, and we empty it every day. It keeps the septic tank in good working order, and if it blocks up, when we get back, we will check to see if the septic's working. If there's a problem, we're going to have to figure out what caused it, and so you're better off not doing that. Just put the toilet paper in the garbage to prevent that totally. So that's that for that. This is where you fill up with fuel. Some more areas where you have some storage over here. This is your generator. you're going to use the generator often, you need to make sure you check the oil. I'm going to do that now. There also is a breaker switch here that occasionally will trip, so if it doesn't trip inside the motorhome, you can come out here and check and see if it's tripped outside. That will keep the generator from working. You just check the level as you would any oil level, which right now it's good. Make sure it's within the hash mark, and that's it. You can also start it here if you'd like. There's a start button, but that's not necessary because you can also start it from the inside, which makes it much easier for you. This is where you'll go. We have to have the fuel, and the LP has to be filled to the top, full, just like when you received it. Right now the tank is full. This is where they'll fill when they need to fill the LP tank. Okay, so going back to the inside, just put this back. Obviously, this is the access to the front of the motorhome. We have keys that will provide for you so that you can operate the front passenger door so you can drive. If you do need a driving lesson, it will be provided to you. That we do prefer that you learn how to drive these before we rent it to you. But if that's not possible, then we can do that for you. We can give you a driving class. But as long as you learn how to just take turns wide and just watch your clearances for height, you'll be good to go. It operates much like a regular car or truck. Just got to take the turns wider. And another thing to keep in mind when you're traveling, you definitely don't want to, I never exceed 65 miles an hour. The tires heat up because of all the weight, and you can have a blowout, which is very dangerous in this thing. Alright, so put the key in to unlock. This step comes out. And then over here, come over here. I'm going to show you some of the light switches we have. If you hit the entry step button, that'll keep this step from going in and out every time you're trying to, when you're camping. So you just, if you hit that button, the step will stay in. You don't have to worry about the door going in and out. We definitely prefer you to do that. Just make sure that light is not on when you're getting ready to leave, or the step will be out and you'll break the step off when you're driving. So there's that. There's several other lights that you'll be able to figure out on here. The only other thing I do want to point out is, other than the lights that are here, is you can hit the radio button and then outside speakers, and you'll be able to play music in here and outside where this little speaker door is on the outside. And the radio is operated from the front, so is the volume. Another outlet for you here. This is where you check your levels for your tanks and your fuel. Fresh tank is fresh water. Holding tank is for the black water septic tank, and then the gray is, like I said, the shower water and stuff like that. You'll show that those both showed empty. This is where you'll, when you're hooked up to the campsite, you'll want it to be up, facing up to water. If you're on travel mode and you need water, you'll have to have it down on pump, and the tank has to be full, and then what will happen is the pump will work the water for you and pump water to wherever you need it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up for now. This switch here is up to electric right now, which means we're plugged into electric, and it's allowing electric to heat the water. If you have this down, it's going to make gas heat the water. And that's if you're traveling also. So when you're traveling, everything's down on this side, and on this one, you'll have this down. When you're not, when you're hooked up, we're going to have it up on electric, which is the way we have it now. This you'll also have to have up if you do want to heat the water with LP gas. So that has to be up if you have this down. Other than that, that's pretty much how that works. These will all, now we have two big slides on here that slide out. What you need to keep in mind is that only one will work at a time. You can't try to open them both up at the same time. So we'll start with the living room. You just hold the button down. And you want to make sure as you're sliding this out that the driver's seat is reclined all the way forward, or you'll see it'll do damage to the back of the seat, which is not a good thing. And you just hold the button until it stops itself. And then you do the same thing with the bedroom. Hold that down until it stops. You do want to make sure that there's nothing in the way. The bedroom will close all the way up to the wall. You want to make sure there's nothing in the way of that. That'll break the inside of the motorhome. The living room, you don't really have to worry about much. Just make sure there's nothing blocking where the front slide comes in and out. And make sure this table is slid all the way forward as you can see it is right now. Then we do have a flat screen TV up here. We have a DVD player. There's an HDMI hookup if you have kids that want to hook up a PlayStation or whatever, automatically already hooked up into the TV. Owner's manuals if you need them. Here's the controllers for the TV and DVD player. Several areas to store stuff here. Like I said, just make sure the inside of this is very clean, just like when you received it. Keep in mind also, you're going to need to bring your own eating plates, bowls, and coffee cups, things like that. We provide everything else, pots, pans, and utensils and stuff like that, but just bring your own throwaway utensils and eatingware, so to speak. The bunk bed, this pulls, you unstrap it. This pulls out this way so that you can sleep somebody up there, small adult, and a kid can fit up there, or just one adult, however you want to do it. This table operates up and down. There's a little handle.
It's right there, Dad.
There you go. You can lift up and down on it. I like to keep it down when I'm traveling. So that's that. It also rotates with another lever operation if you'd like to rotate it right or left. There's some more lights here. You have an outlet over there on the right. There's your sprayer. It's got spray and it's got regular straight water. This comes up. This can be used as a cutting board. Please use this as the cutting board. Do not cut on the countertops. We've already had somebody do some damage on us. There's your microwave, which is also a convection oven. That's self-explanatory. You'll be able to figure that out. You have a light and you have a fan for the over the stove. This lifts up and comes off. Here's your access to your burners. It's typical gas operation. You just turn it to light. It lights, and then you select high, medium, or low for the gas. Here's where your other breakers are that I was telling you about. If something stops working, this is where you'll check first. If these are all on and the generator's not working, you'll want to go ahead and go out and check that other switch and make sure that's not tripped. That has happened a couple times. Coming back over here, one thing I did want to tell you and show you is this is where you'll start the generator from the inside. You just hit start until you hear the motorhome kick in. And once you hear the generator kick in and start, then it'll run. And this is where you get 4 hours per day of generator use. Anything over that is going to be an extra charge. So try not to use it. We only use it if we want to watch a movie or something while we're on the way. Other than that, the AC usually keeps the front and the middle pretty cool while you're moving. Hold down stop to shut it off. That pretty much covers that. We do provide a Keurig type coffee maker. Takes a little while to heat up, but it works great. Just if you want to make 1 cup of coffee at a time. If you'd rather make a full pot, we have a regular coffee pot underneath the kitchen sink. Some more light operation. This is where one of the bathroom lights is. The other one's in the bedroom. Here's your refrigerator, which works great. Brand new. We just replaced it. If you don't really need to mess with these settings, when you unplug and start moving, it'll automatically switch to gas. That's how this thing works. It's a two-way refrigerator. If you were to push this button up on the right, it would run only on gas, and you're going to burn gas more than you need to if you're plugged in. So leave these both down, and this is good to go. If you have any other questions, you can always call me. I'll provide my phone number to you at the end. Here's your air conditioner and heat operation. If you're running the furnace, it runs off of LP gas also. The heat does work very well. You just have to keep in mind that you're burning gas when you're running the furnace. So if you don't need it, don't use it. It doesn't use too much gas that often, so there's really not that much to worry about. And then coming into the bathroom, here's your bathroom here. This is where you'll put in, once you empty the black tank, you immediately put in one of these pods here. And you'll want to lift this up and then flush until a gallon of water goes down into the toilet, and that's the flush lever there. Here's the garbage where you'll put the toilet paper and tissue paper. Try not to put any paper in the toilet, as I said before, just because it'll do damage. Sink. It's all modern and updated. The whole coach is pretty much updated to be nice and modern and new looking. Here's your bathroom cabinet and some storage. We like to put our towels down here. That works really good for cleaning products or towels. We do provide some Scott tissue toilet paper for you and some extra garbage bags. We prefer you just use those. That'll save us a lot of issues. Just because the Scott tissue paper actually breaks down better than any other tissue paper. And then coming in here, I'm going to put on a bedroom light. We have a TV that pops up that also has a DVD